Welcome to Out of the Blue, number 45. So today we are going to talk on the subject of disclosure. Disclosure as a word, we all generally know what it means. To disclose, to reveal. My old work shirt here, by the way. Disclosure. So what's being disclosed? What's being revealed? Well, as they say, it's time to wake up. Smell the coffee. And I'm going to begin because a lot of the things I do, people seem to take the wrong way. But in fact, there's an explanation for lots of the things I do. And one of the things I do is I don't drink my coffee through this lid. I ask for my coffee with no lid, and there's two reasons. One is I don't like creating extra garbage. That's obvious. I mean, that's simple. But there's another less obvious reason. And I'm going to point out this is a piece of plastic. It's made in a little mold. And after it's made, this hole is punched out. So you see the plastic is smooth here. And if we can look closely at that little cut, if you were to look right at this edge, the edge of this little hole, you'd see it's a kind of a rough edge because it's punched out with a little hole punch. Now that doesn't seem like a very big deal, but this is plastic, and plastic is generally not healthy to ingest. Okay, still, big deal. It's just the top of your lid of your coffee. But what do you have here? You have an acidic, hot liquid. Coffee is acidic, and you drink it hot, right? So what's happening is you are running a hot acidic liquid over a raw cut edge of plastic. So what this turns into is a daily dose of plastic off of that raw edge. So people are dosing themselves with a little bit of plastic every day. And the jury is out on if that is good or bad for you. Some kinds of plastic cause cancer. Does this kind of plastic cause cancer? I'm not going to wait to find out. I'm just going to not drink it through that little hole. So, this is advice from the future. This is not a cure for cancer. This is a way to prevent getting cancer, which is to say, to not drink through these little holes, especially hot, acidic liquids. Now, that was just a little beginning, but what we're really going to talk about today is illusion. Now, can we see the sun here? Can we see the sun rising? This is a beautiful painting by Waldo. It's the autumn sunrise. And though it is called the sunrise, us modern people know better, because we live in the age of science. And we know that the sun is not actually rising, and the sun does not actually rotate around, is not in orbit around the earth, but that the earth is in orbit around the sun. And so it's an illusion. The fact that it looks like the sun is rising is an illusion, kind of like this is an illusion, right? This ball appears to float, when really it's a ball on a stick. It's an illusion brought about by perspective. So your perspective is that of the camera. So since you're stuck in that camera, I can make it look like to you this ball is floating. Whereas someone off camera It does not look like it's floating. The sun looks like it's rising. It looks like it's in orbit around Earth, when in fact the Earth is in orbit around the sun. It is an illusion based on our perspective. From Earth, it looks like it's rising. So, my Fun Fingers College notebook, and I'm going to bring a book out that we've looked at already, Why People Believe Weird Things, Michael Shermer, and we're talking again about Susan Blackmore explaining this near-death experience of the tunnel as an illusion created by the way the retina and the eye work. And the way your body works, there's a word for that. That word is physiology. So there's anatomy, which is the parts of your body, and then there's physiology, which is the way your body works. So based on the way your body works, you get this illusion of a tunnel of light when you die. And but that tunnel of light is only the beginning of the near-death experience. There's in fact a lot more to it. So there's meeting dead relatives, there's the city of light, there's a being of light, there's all kinds of things. And the premise of Neo-Swedenborgianism is such that you can see the whole thing as an illusion brought about by our perspective and our physiology. And just like the sunrise, the fact that we understand that the sun is not rising, the fact that we know that the sun is not in orbit around the Earth, does not make the illusion go away. So, the tunnel of light, a physiological illusion. And then if you follow this line of reasoning, you can take this entire list of things which exist, which people report in the near-death experience, and say, well, all that is also an illusion brought about by our physiology. It only seems that way. It only seems like we survive death. It only seems like we are being reunited with our loved ones. It only seems like we are visiting a city of light. But the fact that we can explain it that way and understand it that way does not make it go away. See? It's still there. So, let's let the disclosure begin. Here we have Peterson's Field Guide, Stars and Planets, good book. And if you get this book, and I recommend it, look up the Virgo cluster. The Virgo cluster it'll change your whole world. But before we look at the Virgo cluster, here we have, this is a picture of the Orion Nebula, and this is the constellation Orion. You can see that's the belt of Orion. This down here is the sword. That's the head, that's the foot. And if you have binoculars and you look at the very middle of the sword, that's where this is. The Orion Nebula is in the sword. So, and you can see it with binoculars. It's very interesting. But we're talking today about this. You see that? That's Orion, and this is Sirius, the so-called dog star. So this is Orion's dog, Sirius. Sirius, we now know, is a binary star system. So there's Sirius A and Sirius B. And there's speculation about Sirius C. Sirius C. Sirius C. And I'll just come right out and say it. This ball that I hold on a stick, this is what Sirius C looks like. This is a little globe of Sirius C. We are not alone.